And the recording is started. Okay. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for joining us for another podcast. Excuse the festive red eye that I have. Found out I have a wonderful virus today. So it's going to just have to take its course. And I'll just be festive for the holidays. How are you, sir? I'm glad to have you back.
Yeah, I'm well. We've been having kind of the roller coaster on my side of the tracks. But hopefully we can get back into the podcasting realm. I know you've been taking the helm a little bit further with this new episode that you've come up with basically going through our wish catalogs.
Yes. And it's been fun. I did one with Chad last week, and I wanted to get one with you just because this was kind of our thing, our era as well. Going through the catalogs and, just marking everything we wanted for Christmas and everything. And I thought it would be just an easy thing to put together in the meantime while we're gearing up for a schedule, we'll say, for 2019.
We actually have a schedule?
Well, I mean, we've talked about it.
We have a schedule. We talk about one, but it always goes like really foobar because it just, well, life happens. That's the best way to put it. We're, at least on my side, I'm trying to actually put a plan together and do some podcasts, perhaps along with Jason. He said he'd jump in. More inspirational is the going theme of it. If any of you follow me on Facebook, typically note that I don't post quite a bit at all. I do a daily, what I call the inspiration for today. Most of it is taken our Bible verses, but there are quotes and things that I've heard or picked up on, or I've just whimsically put something together and threw it out there. And that's where I'm taking the podcast. It'll be more of an expansion of. So I'll find something that I wrote about probably 3 years ago and say, okay, what was I thinking at the time? I probably won't remember what I was thinking about at the time. But, the goal is to try to conjure up a little bit of what it meant to me, give you some insight, inspiration, and motivation, not depression. I'm trying to figure what demotivation. I'm not trying to find the demotivator that we have of the day, where everybody seems to complain about everything and has their opinion.
Yes.
And then their offended opinions. So anyway, that's my goal this coming year, to start this thing. I've been saying for 2 years I wanted to do it. And part of that has been I wanted a theme song, and I can't find someone to do the theme song. So I'm going to have to bite the bullet and call up Fivers and have someone do me a little jingle.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So anyway,
getting a little echo.
Don't you start that stuff again.
Hey, it only happens when I'm on with you, man. That sounds better now. Anyway, well, let's...
it's probably, I hate to say it, but it's probably
your mixer.
My mixer. But you had the same problem too when I had the microphone, my little headset. So who knows? Maybe I have an echo in my room. Like the bats in the belfry, I have an echo in the belfry here.
Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get rolling. Yeah, I'll help you out the best I can with your podcast, and that'll be its own separate thing and have its own feed, and we'll hype it as much as we can. And looking forward to helping you with that. But tonight, let's go ahead and get into our Christmas podcast here. This is going to be fun.
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to another special Christmas edition of the Rediscover the 80s podcast. I am your host, Jason Gross, and joining me tonight is my co-host for the Memory Jogger podcast, my partner in crime and the cousin Eddie to my Clark Griswold, Wyatt Bloom. How are you, sir?
Doing good, dude. Just hanging out and chilling, and making you a little jealous here right now about now.
Oh, look at that. He's got the birch beer in hand. You could be drinking that out by the street as you're emptying the pooper.
That's right. Just as long as I'm not in a van down by the river.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, sir. How are the holidays treating you so far this year?
Merry Christmas to you. We're hustling and bustling and everything in between.
Get all your shopping done?
Yeah, we got most, if not all, the shopping done. I just now got to do something for the wife. I might be in trouble with this one.
Well, you got a few days left.
I do have a few days to somehow make a miracle happen.
Well, tonight we are journeying again through another Christmas catalog, and we will be shopping till we drop, we'll say. Going on a little shopping spree. This time, we're going to dive into the 1984 Montgomery Ward Christmas catalog. And we'll be picking various items like we've done once before when I was with Chad. Hope you enjoyed that show. And we'll be picking these items and we're going to put them in our collection. Stuff that we would want to have today or even maybe eyed as a kid as well. If you're watching us over on YouTube, we're going to do some screen sharing from the pages from the catalog and showing off our items that we've chosen. And a big thanks once again to wishbookweb.com for posting the scans of the catalog tonight. And before we get into the list and what we'll be choosing, I just wanted to throw a quick icebreaker over to you, Wyatt, and that is simply, what are your memories of getting these Christmas catalogs in the mail and going through them as a kid?
Oh, that was just like an inch shy of getting your Christmas. I mean, you just salivate over, oh man, I got to see this and this and this, and just circling and earmarking everything that I wanted, which was like 90% of the toys and whatever else. But I remember carefully looking it over, going back over, because my dad said you can't have everything. So, make sure you pick something you really want. Of course, the list didn't really dwindle all that much, but but yeah, it was just the whole fun of seeing a catalog. And my son actually kind of got the same spark, as it were, when Target sent out their little Christmas catalog here about a month ago. Mm-hmm. So he had the same spark. He's going through it. He had it for about 3 days. I'm like, right on. Yeah,
we were a little bummed because I remember getting the Toys R Us catalog last several years, and I'm like, oh, we're not going to get the Toys R Us catalog this year. And we got the Target one too, and also one from Walmart. That was it was, I don't know, maybe 50 pages, something like that. Pales in comparison to the phone book that we used to get, as these Christmas catalogs went. But yeah, there's still that little spark that we can get into them for Christmas coming and eyeing some items that, they want to ask Santa for this year. So that's cool that tradition can somewhat be passed along.
Right. That was, like I said, that was fun. I was almost in my head. I almost swooped it up myself and started going, oh, what do I want? Oh wait, I'm not 8 anymore.
Well, I can guarantee there was plenty of things in this catalog that you would have wanted as a kid. Because the
problem was I went through this list and I kept saying stuff I actually got out of it. Like, oh, I had that. I had this. I had that.
I had a couple of those moments as well.
So yeah.
So that's it's kind of a weird thing going through these now, and you're like, well, should I get something that I never had, or should I go back and get something that I really wanted or that I really had for real and want to get again, So it's that's why it's kind of interesting when you're going back through these. But we've got a list of items here, and I did axe one of those items off the list. Wyatt, I don't know if you saw or not, but there's only 6 pages of Christmas stuff in this catalog. So I just went ahead and removed the Christmas item from the list.
Okay. Unless what's sad is I actually saw how you scaled this, only a few moments ago. I just went on the wish list and just went boom, 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 boom. Then I saw you kept it like settled down to like one of these items. I'm like, oh crap! Now I gotta pick
Well,
it
you
up.
can, if you've got a bunch listed, you can kind of choose which one you want. But
I'm gonna have to
we're gonna,
choose 'cause I have too much of a bunch.
well, we've got several items here. What we're going to be choosing tonight is one clothing item, one bedroom item like a sleeping bag, a play tent, sheets. We're going to dip into the electronics this time, VCR, TV, stereo, something like that. We're going to dip into the jewelry again, a necklace, a ring, a watch. We're also going to do something new this time, like an outdoor or recreational item, like a bike, swing set, even like a pool table or something like that. We're going to find one of those type items to take home. And then we're going to dip into the toys and close to what we did in the previous show, but a little extra item here. We're going to do two items in like the action figures and play sets category. There's a bunch in this catalog too. There was one, we're going to do one board game or tabletop game, one electronic or handheld game. We're going to do one video game system or computer system. There's a bunch of computers in this one. And then also another game or accessory on top of that system. And then we're going to pick a slot car or a train set, because there was a ton of those in there. And I never had either of those growing up. But I thought we'd throw that one in there for this podcast. And then we're going to do, like we did last time, two other random items from the entire book. And I've also got down here maybe some other wow moments as we were flipping through there. Like you said, something that you sparked. Hey, I had that. I did that a couple times in this catalog. And there's also a couple items that I was like, whoa, I don't remember that at all. And that is crazy. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to let you go first and pick what clothing item do you want to pull from the catalog?
Well, I'm actually looking again because I'm hoping I missed it, but I haven't seen it yet. And so I'll go with I was hoping for the Nightrider because Nightrider seemed to be a big theme here, but I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go with the A-Team PJs, although they probably wouldn't fit me anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I love the old A-Team. Not just the Mr. T, but the I'm trying to find the page now. I lost it. The one A-Team that's like mostly just the logo.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Where it is? Screen share. How do you do that? That's pretty bad. I
can do it, or you just click those two squares at the lower right.
I got it, I think.
I can see your desktop.
Not what you're supposed to see.
You got to pull the picture up.
I don't even see my. Sorry, technical difficulty. Please stand by.
I see your notes.
No, then it's on the wrong screen. Sorry. Stupid thingamabob. Display 2. Did it pop up now? No.
There it is.
There it is. Okay. There it is. So here.
Oh yeah.
We're at the van. Kind of, I won't say jumping, but kind of looks like it's jumping.
Yep. Yeah, I saw those in there. I was trying to read actually what it was saying underneath the logo. It says something about action, jump into action.
Ready for action.
Ready for action. That's right. Yeah.
Mr. T wants you.
That's a great one too. I'd like to have that on a t-shirt right now. But yeah, I was looking through there too, like the men's clothes and everything. There wasn't much. I mean, there was a really cool, I picked a jacket in the last show, a leather jacket, and there was a dude on a motorcycle that was rocking this black leather jacket. I was like, man, that's great. Mm-hmm. But I was looking for something sports related too. I didn't really see anything except for the kids stuff. So I went with a pair of pajamas too. Over on page 59, if I can get to that, is the Gremlins PJs.
You can't go stealing anything off of Chad's list. I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh, these Gremlins PJs right here. The green one's down here at the bottom. It's got like a
All I see is a
backpack.
black screen. Oh, there it is.
There he is.
It finally popped up on my end. Sorry.
Now these pajamas right here.
Yep, those are nice.
Oh my gosh, they got the backpack on the front, and it's got Gizmo popping out of the top with the zipper open. I was like, oh, those are great. I want that on a T-shirt right now.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing unique about this, what's on this page, you see this belt down here?
Yeah.
I have that belt. I still have that belt.
Really?
Now the Gremlins kind of logo is worn off. And I didn't even look for the A-Team one, but there was an A-Team one as well that was green. And I believe it had Mr. T on the buckle, but it's magnetic, and it adjusted along the side. I still have that somewhere, but yeah, I like you. I was like, adult clothes are lame in this. I'm gonna pretend I'm a kid, and I'm gonna go for the PJs. So I picked the Gremlins one right there. So that'll be our clothing items. Now we go on to the item for our bedroom. What did you pick there?
So on page 469, I got to get to it. On page 469, well, on the little dude's 469. Let me see if that's the right number.
Yeah, there was the actual page numbers were a little bit off.
Can you help me open this? Can you help me to
Pause a second.
Yep.
Hold on a second. No. Jameson can show you, okay? That was my little girl asking me how to transform my hot rod transformer.
Sweet.
That I bought yesterday.
I bought one yesterday too. The thing is, it's still in the box and still in my car, and I just need to.
I had to get it out. All right, what page are we on?
That's what I'm looking for. Still, where's the zoom? There it is. 465 is what it's really on. Now let me get my screen share to. Where'd it go? There it is. Come on, show up. There it is.
Oh, nice.
The
there it is.
Nightrider sleeping bag, complete with the little satchel that Michael would tote around, you know?
Man, there was some great Nightrider stuff in this book, and I'm sure you saw most, if not all of it, but
yep.
I saw the sleeping bag. It's great. It's got the dash, and he's kind of looking back from.
Yep, and
it's all kind of
season. It's the original, the series 1, because that looks, I might be off, but that looks like the square voice box there and the 2 monitors. So that was, that's classic kit.
Yeah, that's the original season. But I like, it's more of the like cartoonish style.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the sunset graphic there with Kit that is also on the duffel bag.
Oh yeah,
I love it. And it's funny. Like, do you see where they got a front license plate on Kit that says Night 2000?
Oh yeah! Holy cow!
I thought that was funny that they like the kid wouldn't know, but it's right there in that front corner. Right here.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Night 2000. Anyway, great choice. Very good choice. Now, I went with something different this time because I was looking at the sleeping bags too. There's a bunch of cool sleeping bags in this one. And the A-Team play tent. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's the van. I thought for sure I was going to pick that. but I decided not to. I went with something a little bit unconventional. Over on page 55
Now you
is
gotta
all
make me all the
this.
way back.
What's that?
Now you gotta have to make me go all the way back.
Yes. Well, I can pull it up. It's on
No.
page 55. It's all of the Star Wars stuff.
Oh yeah, I see it.
And it's the Return of the Jedi was out for this year. And I'm going to pull up my screen share here. Now you'll notice it's got the cool sheets. It's got a very, very cool sleeping bag here with Darth Vader on the front.
Oh yeah.
All the supporting characters on. I didn't choose any of that. What I chose was right here. This is wallpaper.
Oh,
And I'm gonna wallpaper my bedroom with Return of the Jedi. And it has you can order a double roll for $30, or 2 or more double rolls are only $15 each. So it's like, okay, so you might as well just buy 2. You get, for $30. And then it's got this border too, so you can put the border up with the characters on it. It looks like just one character at a time, like in a portrait style. But I thought that would be fun. Let me wallpaper my room in Star Wars instead of just having it on the bed or on a sleeping bag or curtains like you could even see over here.
Right.
So I went with wallpaper this time. I thought that would be fun. Okay, so let's keep moving right along. We're going to move along to our electronic item. A VCR, TV, stereo. What did you go for in this section?
Oh man, I was like all over which one, And what's funny is I'll have to punch it up. What page was it? 579.
Mm-hmm.
When we were talking about back in the day, one of the which episode was that? We were talking about the TV, right, that we grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying how it was a funky oddball thing. I don't think it was a 13-incher, but it might have been. It was this guy on the bottom. I don't know if you can make it out.
I see it.
You had 1 through 13 push buttons.
Mm-hmm.
You had your contrast and whatever. You open this door, and that's where the UHF was.
Gotcha. Okay.
Here, just push the button for UHF right there. Then you opened up this, and you had a little tiny dial to go, 14, 15, 55, whatever. So yeah, that's what we had. But to answer your question, where is it?
Was your little portable TV in here?
No, it wasn't. That was a little bit newer.
Oh, I see what you went for.
Heck yeah. If I'm going to go, I'm going to go all out. I want the portable video camera here.
That's like it's a monster.
Well, it is. You know what's sad is years ago, when I was stationed out at Mountain Home, going to the church there, I stumbled on an old video camera, probably a lot dumbed down model of this, but it had the VCR, the separate VCR tape player that you carried around in a little satchel or strap.
Look at that. Comes with a remote too.
Oh yeah.
$1,000.
$8.99. No money down, $45 a month. Call today. Oh look, it was on sale they took $100 off.
There you go. Man, that thing is glorious.
And a big old heavy beast.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not watching this on YouTube or not going over there, you think about what Marty McFly used in Back to the Future. That little
that was the beast, but it also had a big old separate VCR.
Look at this.
Carry on your side.
This is like a third of the size bigger. Plus, it's got that huge like boom mic. Isn't that what that is that comes out the top?
Yep, that's what that is. And look at this control arm. Look at this. Yeah.
Man, it's like being in a cockpit of a 747.
Almost. I mean, that's just shy of what cameras are. Legit TV movie cameras might be like.
Right. Wow, that's glorious. Good job. I like that pick.
How about you?
I went something for a little more practical, but still cool because I was like, well, yeah, I want a portable TV. I never had a portable TV like you did. And then I saw this portable record player boom box that had like a drawer that came out the bottom. I was like, ooh, that would be fun. And then I was like, oh, let's go with this. This is a boom box with a TV. A cassette player and an AM/FM stereo.
Day too. That was awesome.
So for $180, here you go. You get, and what's cracked me up about this? You could it was portable. 10 D batteries you needed for that thing.
Dude.
You imagine how heavy that thing was.
How heavy that? Because that was even a tube. That wasn't even like an LCD. That was a big old tube in that thing.
Right.
Even for a 4 or 5 inch that thing is.
Yeah, and there's your, I guess these are your channels over here, and
yeah,
even had a few equalizers, and oh, this thing is glorious. You got a 12-volt car adapter as well.
Heck.
Take it with you in the car.
Which I did, but not with that big beast.
Yeah.
So he's got on a bunny trail, but basically I had this 5-inch black and white TV. It was just a little guy, about probably just the size of what his TV is up there.
Yeah.
Box.
5-inch is what this is.
That's what mine was. 5-inch black and white. It had a little dial for everything. The radio and the TV tuner. And man, I watched that thing like there was no tomorrow, as much as I could. I remember driving one time, I think this was on one of the previous Rediscover the memory joggers, where I actually listened because I thought I'd get in trouble. I pointed the TV to the passenger door so I wouldn't see it. But I listened to Married with Children all the way from my mom's house to, I think it was to WCPA, all the way there to the job. Oh man, I love that.
That's great. That's great. All right, well, we're going to keep on rolling. Next up is our jewelry item. Necklace, ring, watch. I could probably guess what you went for, but take it away.
What do you think I picked?
I think you picked the calculator watch. That's what I think.
If I can get to it, dude. I'm sure he did this to be consolidated. Okay, I think I'm there. On page 398, or let me get my granny eyes on. Legit, the real 394 on the catalog. Got to zoom in. Got to do that right.
Yep.
And there it is. The Nightrider Watch.
Oh, yes. Wow.
I think yes, on the page before. I think it's the page before. Maybe it's the page after. Somewhere along here. These were actually pretty cool, too. The Transformer watches. I was tempted, and there's the calculator watches. Mm-hmm. But I didn't see the data bank that I used to have.
They had a legit Casio watch. I'll have to track it down. It was in right there. Yep.
So this is the one I was tempted to choose. Mm-hmm. Is this the one? It's not. So I had there was the racing game one, right? The one I told you about looked spot on like this, except these lines, all the horizontal lines, were your track. And you just raced, and you had to avoid like your opponent. You just these these little buttons were the driving. So yeah, that was cool. But yeah,
so back to your watch.
There. I'm sorry.
So back to the watch you chose. Is that like close to a replica of what was in the show?
No, because if you looked at the show, you saw this like a microphone or a speaker, which would have been the, for Michael to talk and Kit to talk back on. Mm-hmm. there was something over here, and the LCD was raised up higher because of that little function. But
Gotcha.
yeah, you gotta make me Google. What's your electronic?
My I went for a watch, and you already said what I chose, but it's not the page that you're on. I'll show you here with my screen share the watch that I chose. Yes, it's the transforming watch, the Chronoforms, and I went with the gold one, man. They had a bunch of different colors on that one page that you were on, but this page towards the front of the catalog, I think it's one something. It's like 120, 116. Was a bunch of robot stuff. There's a nice Inspector Gadget figure there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember having a Chronoform watch as a kid, and I can't remember exactly what color it was. I want to say it was gray. But I saw the gold one, and I was like, oh, yes, I want the gold one. And I remember having that in school for a while, and then I quit wearing it. I don't know if somebody got on to me, because I had the Pac-Man watch, too. And I remember somebody, whichever teacher at the time, getting on to me for having that at school. So, yeah, I'm going back and getting my my Chronoform watch here, and this robot over here is like the polar opposite of one that I actually had that was gold, had a red button on top instead of the yellow button.
Oh yeah.
And it actually like blew smoke. I don't know why, but it did smoke, I think, out of its mouth or something. You put a little bit of water in it, and I don't know if it just zapped it or whatever. But you hit the button on top, and then he would go, and I think it was kind of like it would hit a wall and back up a little bit and go another way until it ran into something else. And I had the gold one. Was it Tommy the Talking Robot?
Nice.
That was only $12. That was as much as the watch. Man, that's a steal. So yeah, man, this catalog had a lot of cool stuff. So I went with the Chronoform watch as my my jewelry item. So now we get on to this.
Well, if you bring it back to me, get back to off of your screen share.
Okay, I'm off.
There's the communicator watch.
Okay, yeah. I got you now.
So
close, but not
no cigar.
Not screen accurate.
Well, the Dukes had their own watch. That's one of the big things that they still sell, which is hilarious. It's one of those where it's a dime a dozen. You can pick them up anywhere for like $10 to $30, depending on if they're still in the box or not. So
cool. All right, so we're on to our recreational / outdoor / whatever
/ whatever.
I wrote down a swing set, a pool table, a bike, a big wheel. What'd you choose?
Well, if you haven't guessed already, there's a theme going.
I know exactly where you're going.
I just gotta find it now. This one? Yes. Gotta zoom in, of course. So I had a pedal car back in the day. My truck. But had I known this sucker existed, man, the cool kid in town or something. Yeah, I'd like to have drive on kit.
Oh my gosh, that thing is glorious. There is also like a big wheel in here too, right?
Yeah, there's a big wheel somewhere.
That's kit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Said I had a truck. It was actually a little bit bigger than this. And you've seen pictures. I'd have to dig them up. But I had a car. That was my favorite buggy of the whole day.
That's what we talked about for our top 3 or top 5 Christmas gifts in that podcast.
Yeah. Man, I love that thing. But yeah, I would have loved that Nightrider. I think I would have gave up my truck for that. How about you?
Oh man. So I went a little different direction. I mean, there were so many great pedal cars and big wheels in this thing. But I came across something I remember actually having as a kid. Me being an only child, and my dad did, play baseball and basketball and, sports with me from time to time. I'm probably the result of, or the cause, rather, of his 2 shoulder surgeries for tossing balls up in the air and playing pop flies. But anyway, I'm going over to, let me find the page. Page 174, and it's this little pitching machine. It basically for wiffle ball. So it came with a bat, and it's this little pitcher guy, and he has an arm that is like underhand, and you put your wiffle ball there. There, I found it. Gotta blow it up here, and then we'll screen share. I think it's called the Baseball Kid. There he is. The Baseball Kid.
Oh yeah, I remember the commercials for that.
I think it might have been where there was a little mechanism in the back that held 2 or 3 balls, and it would come down to this little. It was like a little ring or something that the ball set in, and then you had his little arm, and it would go back, and it would hit the ball, and then you got this. I think it was a Nerf material at the top of the wiffle ball bat here, because it had that same kind of plastic at the bottom, and then it widened at the top, and I think it was that wiffle ball material. So yeah, I went with the Baseball Kid right here, and I'm very certain that I had that and used it in my backyard, and loved it. Let's see what it was going for here. 1888. Needs 2D batteries. It's a pitching machine. Balls are pitched one at a time from a distance of 12 to 15 feet, and it shuts off automatically after throwing the last ball. Imagine that. So I went with the Baseball Kid for my my outdoor recreational item. There's some good tents and everything in this book. It was just going from the Sears book to this one, the Sears book that Chad and I did.
Yeah.
I was kind of blown away with this Montgomery Ward book as far as the toys and everything go. It just seemed like the Sears book, it was littered with a lot more just, I don't know, clothes and the stuff that we had to get to get to the toys. And this had just a bunch of stuff and all the themed stuff in the front, and it gave you that little table of contents, If you're looking for the A-Team, look on these pages.
Right.
Looking for Nightrider, it's on every page,
It seemed like it.
But I don't know. I like this book a lot more. Okay, we've waited long enough. Now it's time to dive into the toys. So give me 2 items there from the action figures and play sets that you chose.
Okay, I'm trying to get to those pages. Okay. So I'm being greedy on this one.
Okay.
I know you can't just select one like Lay's. You can't have one. But any and all these guys on the GoBots and Transformers page right here on page 12, I'd be okay with.
You know what's funny? It's like, well, and this was 1984, so I think I want to say GoBots came out in 83, and then Transformers in 84.
Yeah.
But like GoBots get top bill. I mean, they've got that, the command centers there, and they've got some of the figures over there to the right, the Guardians and the Renegades, and then you jump down below, and then that's when you get into the
Transformers.
That first wave of Transformers. There's Starscream. Oh man, Jazz. And then I think it's the next page has Optimus and
Yep.
Soundwave and Megatron.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah, and there you got the bigger GoBots at the top. That's a GoBots power wheel, the
Yeah.
big wheel, and then you get Optimus and Megatron Soundwave. Yeah, it is funny. Like they in the index in the front, the section they call for Transformers and GoBots is just robots.
Yeah.
So yeah, robots was the craze.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I looked over that page and I was in the robot section quite a bit. I didn't actually end up choosing. I don't think I did, at least, any of the GoBots or Transformers. I came close to picking Megatron because I always wanted a Megatron. But for my two items, I'm going to go over to page 28. And I've got kind of a theme going. The first thing I picked was the Mr. T doll. And then I kind of backed off on that. But the Mr. T doll is like glorious, and I've always wanted one. Mr. T was my favorite character on the A-Team, and the the description is what cracked me up for the Mr. T doll. It says, "I'll go ahead and screen share." Tough talking Mr. T doll says one of 4 different things when you pull the string. Authentic sounding voice of superhero Mr. T as B.A. Baracus of the A-Team. And includes his tool set. 12.5 inches high. And it was $13. Murdoch, you're crazy.
Crazy fool.
That's what's in the caption above.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. Oh my gosh. So I was going to go for that, and then I saw what was on the previous page, which I had forgot existed. So this is what I went with. I went with the A-Team warehouse.
Oh yeah.
And Murdoch's
portable ultralight copter that he
Yes.
had on one episode. That's
those
awesome.
are the 2 items. I'm taking the warehouse. It's not, I don't know. It's kind of plain Jane to me.
Yeah.
But it's got the elevator, it's got a crane, you got a little table, and you got a computer there to, for Hannibal to get all the plans together. But this scale down below, they've got the ones that are the G.I. Joe size,
Right.
which I still want. And then you've got you got 3 vehicles down here. A helicopter for Murdoch, and then you got BA's van and Face's Corvette. Oh, and check these out. Did you see these?
I did. That's on my next whatever list we have.
I was like, what? I had never seen these before. They're like transforming A-Team vehicles.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
There's like guns that pop out of the Corvette on the sides and then the front and the hood, and I don't know what that is that comes out of the T-top there. And then look at the van.
I know.
Holy cow. He's got a gun out the top. You got some kind of battering ram that came out the front like Rhino on Mask. And then something else in the back. It looks like the wheels are covered too. I'm not sure why in the back. But I had never seen those before. And those are really cool. And there's the tent. I was like, oh, I want the tent. But you remember, I picked up these the 6-inch figures at RetroCon 2 years ago, and that's what these that's what the warehouse is for. Those size figures. So this thing is huge to fit those figures on 2 levels, and then to fit the Murdoch figure in the helicopter. So that's what I went with. I had forgot that the warehouse was even a thing. So I'm taking the warehouse and Murdoch's little ultralight as my first part of our toys. Let's get on to our board game or tabletop game. What did you take for this one?
The electronic Battleship.
Oh, classic.
It's 29. Did it say 29? No, 123. So I never had. I don't think I ever actually had a Battleship game until I was like an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure who had it amongst us. I want to say our mutual friend had it, but don't quote me. I was always jealous because I wanted just even a Battleship game. Didn't care if it was or not. There it is, screen share. So yeah, right here. This big old dude.
Oh yeah. What did that go for, price wise?
So $34.94. And there's your Bigfoot game right here.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, oh, and it's like an earlier version because that's different box art than what I have, and the pieces. You see, they're like color coded.
Yeah.
Those 4 cards, they're not color coded on mine. They're all the same color. I think it's gray, but the cards that are on there are the corresponding colors.
Hmm.
So it's a little bit different version than what I have. The board looks exactly the same.
Nice.
But yeah, man, electronic Battleship. Can't
Another
beat
one
that.
I always wanted was Upwards because I liked Scrabble, but I hated that I'd run out and you could never do anything with it, and I was always jealous because you needed Upwards to play it, you know.
Yeah. Well, somebody had that, I remember, and I wasn't impressed by it. There was another one in here that I almost chose. It's the Perfection, but it's the one with the pieces that combine together. Oh man, I'm gonna have to find it now. I might be looking for a while, but oh, there it is. Here, I'll throw it up while we're talking about it. I don't know if it was me or somebody, one of my friends had it, the Superfection. And you put, remember the regular Perfection game with the little yellow pieces that popped up? I think you said you had that.
Yes, I did.
This one was a little bit different where you like took all the pieces out and they went in a certain way together, like 2 of them.
Right.
And then you had to put them back in before the thing, popped up everywhere. So yeah, that was like a mind trip there. And then you remember this like magic set, the Magic World of Blackstone.
No.
It looked familiar. I don't know if somebody that I knew had it or something, but I was like, oh, I kind of remember that. But what I chose was a few pages back, I think on 124. Nope. What was it? There it is, 128. Crossbows and Catapults.
I remember hearing that name, but that was about the extent of how much I
think our friend Leaf had it.
Did he?
And yes.
It wouldn't surprise me, but
he had a lot of the stuff we wanted. But so this was the regular game where you had the castles on both sides, and then you get the crossbows and catapults with the discs to launch. This I had not remembered existed. There's like a Trojan horse battle that it was almost like an add-on that you could do for the the regular game, or I think just separately, but it looks like it launches from its tail at this whatever this is, target over here. That looks pretty awesome as well. But that was a game that I'd never had that I believe he had, and I remember playing like over on his kitchen floor where it was smooth, to get those discs to fly around. And that was how much was that? $17. And the Trojan horse was $11 add on. There's a fun bowling set.
Yeah.
So that's what I chose as my board or tabletop game. So now we go on to our electronic game or handheld electronic game. What did you choose for that?
I just stumbled onto this Switch Force in the box, 18 van. You can see that is kind of like a pointy battering ram.
Oh, weird.
This must be like wheel guards or something for the rear tires. You see a machine gun out of the...
That looks pretty big.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it then, huh?
Well, if you look on the back, there was more cars to it. There was like a red cousin to the 18 van. There was like 3 different types of Corvettes.
Interesting. Switch Force. I'd never heard of that.
And then here's Face's car.
Mm-hmm.
Something's broken up here, so you can't see what this was supposed to be. That's so cool, though.
Yeah, very cool.
So now, back to the matter at hand. Electronic games, right?
Yep.
Page 120. 132. Read it.
You might have chosen the same one. Mine's on.
Well, I was again like I did with the Transformers and G.I. Joe, just get them all. There were some pretty awesome ones. It was hard for me to kind of pick which ones. I've always wanted the little Pac-Man portable games like you see here. I hated Simon with a passion. I could never.
I thought about getting the big Simon. I had the pocket version, but the price was only like $6 off, like from the pocket version to the tabletop version.
But I think if I were to pick any one of these, it'd probably be this Game and Watch multi-screen here. It looks cool. I have no idea what it does, but it looks so cool. It looks like it says a pinball game.
That's the exact one that I chose, dude.
Nice.
It's a pin. Now I'd seen these Game and Watch ones before, and I remember even playing one. I can't remember. It was one that was like a tank in an airplane that an airplane would come by and there was like a tank on the ground. You try to shoot the airplane, I think, and it dropped bombs at you.
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
I'm pretty sure that was a Game and Watch. Here, I'm gonna pull up mine. I got it zoomed in here. But this one was interesting in that it flips open, and I remember there being some flip open ones that I've seen. I had not seen this pinball one. So this was cool where, you start down here at the bottom with your flippers and you could hit the ball and it goes into the top screen. So you got like 2 screens to work with. And I love pinball. So that's the exact one that I picked, man.
Where were these when I was doing my little article a few years ago on
I think you might have put one in there. One of these Game and Watch ones.
I might have. It's been so long.
Yeah. And then on the
the Game and Watch thing. Yeah.
Yeah, on that next page, now my friend up the street had Pac-Man and I had Donkey Kong. If they had Donkey Kong in here, I might have chosen that, as much as I suck at Donkey Kong. But those were really cool, the Coleco tabletop games, and they got Donkey Kong Jr. and Q*bert, which is interesting because Q*bert goes diagonally only.
Right.
And then they got the Zaxxon one as well. That's a mini little joystick. I love Zaxxon. And that one looks huge, the case. But yeah, they had some pretty good ones in here. And yeah, Simon, the pocket Simon was $21 and that tabletop Simon was $30. So you might as well go for the big one, if you're gonna pay that much. Yeah, Simon, I could play a little bit of Simon, and then I had to put it away. So yeah, good choice there. We chose the same one. All right, now on to our video game system, our computer, and our extra gamer accessory. What did you? I was thinking maybe your computer would be in there, but I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either. That's what I was looking all over for. The other one that I wanted to get, I was always curious, the Commodore 64, because there were a lot of people that loved it, and it was kind of like me, it was the niche. If you didn't understand the Texas Instruments, you didn't understand anything else. The same with Commodore 64. If you didn't understand its commands, you didn't understand anybody else's. but it always was intriguing because that was, I'll call it the more popular, at least the more well-known computer of the time was that Commodore 64, and you could still play relatively familiar games. A couple pages. Sorry, thought I had the screen share on. There it is. There's this Commodore 64 with all its accessories. You got the printer, of course. You got your tape or your disk drive and monitor and little other accessories. And right here, you can play your games. Like there's Pole Position, Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man, actually. Did I see Centipede somewhere? Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
So you play familiar games that would work on this stuff. Look at this, $42.99 for one of the games. $32.99 for some other ones. But yeah, it was intriguing. I was kind of bummed I didn't see my Texas Instruments, but I think my dad bought that. Don't quote me, but I think he bought it at Radio Shack.
Okay.
Back when the Tandy was kind of the competition of the time.
Yeah.
If you remember, I want to say it was in the original Radio Shack there in Clearfield by what's now I think Gray's Battery or something like that, across from the Progress. There used to be a Radio Shack building there before they moved it to the mall, and then it disappeared like everything else.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Now, I remember the building right next to Light Singers.
Yeah.
On the corner.
Was Sears.
Was it a Sears?
It was a Sears. That was our only Sears in town. And
okay, I was thinking that was like a mom and pop like appliance store. It was Sears?
That was Sears. It was a little Sears shop, and in the very back that was the only place that was a second floor, and that's where you ordered everything off the catalog.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to remember in the last show. I remember that huge counter being up on the second or third floor, and Mom would go up there, and then you had your catalogs and whatever else to order your stuff, and I think they shipped it there.
Yeah, and then you picked it up.
Yeah, you picked it up later when it came in, but yeah, I couldn't remember if that was a Sears or not.
Yep, that was that's where you kind of, I'll call it, that was where you got the light stuff. You go in there for a couple wrenches, a couple washer and dryers, maybe a sofa, and there wasn't that much room there to do anything.
No, because it was small, and that's what I was thinking. Well, that couldn't have been a Sears because it was a small building.
Yeah, it was more like a Sears Mart is probably the best. Then you went up to Du Bois to go get to the what felt like the Cadillac version of Sears.
Right, and Montgomery Ward was in the mall, and yeah.
Up until a few years ago, before all the closures happened, I mean, I thought I was in my heyday when I found the 2-story one down here, Columbia, Maryland. So it's like, dude, man, I'm really in my heyday. I can buy anything. But yeah, Sears was, that's a cool memory. I love going down our old hometown.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing too. And I, talking about that in the last show, I was like, man, I need to talk with Wyatt and make sure I need somebody to verify my memories.
Verification occurred. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll show you what I chose for my. I was gonna go for a computer system because I never had a home computer. I was looking at the Atari one. I looked at the Commodore because those were popular ones, and then I saw ColecoVision, and I just bought the Ready Player One movie, and at one of the end scenes, he's playing on ColecoVision. They had these crazy paddles over here, almost like Atari. But what sold me, not the free Cabbage Patch doll. What sold me was this little adapter right here. This little adapter, you plugged into the front of the ColecoVision, and you could play Atari 2600 games on it.
Yeah.
I had no idea you could do that. Like, they made an adapter for Atari. So you could, back in the day, to hook one of these up, you had the two little prongs that went in the back of your TV. And to hook up two systems, you pretty much had to have two TVs. You couldn't hook them up to the same one. So this, I was like, oh my gosh. So I get all of the Coleco games I could want. And then you plug that up, and all my Atari 2600 games I can just pop right in. And even that adapter in the front had a port where you could plug in the Atari controllers. I was like, this is ingenious, man.
Oh yeah.
Instead of making, like Atari went from 2600 to 5200 and all that, they just said, screw it. And we're going to play the other guys' games in our system. I thought that was just, I don't know, it was mind-blowing to me.
Oh yeah.
I had never known that the ColecoVision had an insert for Atari 2600. And look at these other controllers too, man.
Oh,
you got this one here with the baseball. You could also, there was a Rocky game that you played, like boxing, and you got the steering wheel down here for your race car games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that one is, but and then you can get a free Cabbage Patch doll to give to your sister for Christmas. See, everybody walks away happy.
My sister had tons of that stuff.
But I don't know. That just kind of blew my mind. I had not ever remembered. I wasn't around ColecoVision at all. But to have an adapter to play, your competitors' games in,
mm-hmm.
I thought was just ingenious. But anyway, that was me. So I went for the ColecoVision. Okay, so which slot car set or train set did you pick?
Well, you remember back in our toy box, I have, and now I found out where my dad got it.
G.I. Joe one, right?
I have the G.I. Joe train set, and it's still up in my shed, ready to go.
Which one is it? Because there's a couple in this one.
Yeah, I saw that too. It's the, did I mark it?
Is it the one with like the mat and then the stuff kind of goes around it with the little like army men figures?
Yeah, it's not the one
Okay.
with the tunnel. It's the other one. Now I'm lost. 160. So I had that big that train set. I was just starting to get into trains. My dad was introducing me to the HO scale, and I had actually had my first little, I mean, it was like probably about the same size of that track. Union Pacific or something, HO INL trains. And then I got my G.I. Joe train set. And no, I got the G.I. Joe train set first. That's what it was. Sorry, I'm still clicking through the pages.
Now, I'm surprised you didn't go for the Nightrider set.
I did. That's what I'm going for.
Oh, okay.
Just trying to find the dang page.
It's 160.
I know. I'm still scrolling there.
You went with the Flash version, didn't you? I didn't do Flash this time. I did the regular version. Freezing up my computer.
Oh, there it is. Finally. So there with the truck, which I don't know why racing against a truck. I mean, give me a give it a good race, dude.
Or just give me car.
That would have been sweet.
Kid versus car. Come on.
Awesome. Then you got the A-Team slot guy right up above it.
Yeah.
So cool.
Both of those were in contention from what I finally chose. But I just thought, I was looking at the track and there's not a whole lot of movement to it. I mean, it's just a basic oval and you get kit, you know. And it looks like, is that a bridge that goes up, over, and down? Maybe?
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped a couple.
That's all right. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's a little cross bridge right there. You can see.
Yeah. And then the A-Team one was cool because it had this motion where it would spin around. I forget what they called it. It's in the description here. Let me pull it up. The A-Team action racing set. It does Daredevil U-turns. Yeah. The car's like, I don't know if it was like some button or something you hit to turn it. But I remember seeing the commercials and it was pretty cool. But Again, it's basically like a glorified figure eight, and then you got that little section where you can like pass each other and almost go head on. But I didn't go for either of those. I went for what I had always wanted as a kid, never got. And the commercials are. I miss Tyco. Oh my gosh, I miss Tyco. The commercials were great. The guy that did the voice for Tycho was awesome. So I went with the cliffhangers here.
Oh, that's a sweet track
with the night glow, the glow in the dark. So, how much was this one? There was that huge one at the bottom. Was by far the biggest and most expensive, but I just clicked off it and it zooms out. But anyway, the cliffhangers one was great. This is the one where it goes up the wall. So you got that section on the wall, and then it kind of comes back around and goes upside down for a while, and then it comes back around, does a loop, and then you're right back up the wall again. I think there was another maybe bigger one actually than this one. And then the cars are Corvettes. So, us being a Corvette family, I was like, man, I'm sold on this. So I went with the Tyco zero gravity cliffhangers with night glow. Gosh, I love the commercials. But yeah, there's so many great sets in this. The train sets too. They had the G.I. Joe trucking one that was you're like this you're hauling this missile, and then like you have another. Oh, here it is. I'm gonna have to screen share this before we get on to the next. We're almost done. This track I've seen the commercials for. Never knew anybody that had it, but you're like this truck driver. You got this huge missile, and you've got to get it around and do something with it. And then your Cobra, the other person is the Cobra truck, and you're coming over to like run you off the road or something. I can't remember what the whole action or it was almost like there was like a mission, that was associated with the slot car track. But yeah, so there's like a cutoff section of the track, and then there was a launching pad for the missile. So you had to like get the missile all the way around and back over and set it up, and I don't know, before your Cobra buddies, derailed you. But that was great too. I thought about that. And then there was also another one. I'm going to have to click over to that too while I'm here, because this whole section was just, I could watch this for hours. There's some Hot Wheels and Matchbox stuff right before all the trains, and I had the Stow and Go garage for Hot Wheels. Hopefully I'm gonna find it here shortly. I might not. Anyway, they had a Stow and Go train set for Hot Wheels that was basically what like mine was, where it kind of folded up, and it was great. Here, I've got it. And they had all the cool. They had the crisscross track Hot Wheels, the one with the snake, and all the bunch of great ones. There's the
yeah.
That's the one I had my eye on, because it was like that Stow and Go where you had the two levels, and then down here you can see where you added the train track down the hill and came back around and split into two tracks to get back into the actual play set. And you had a little garage down here to work on your trains, and then it folded up like the briefcase. You could take it with you. I was like, oh man, that's great. And it's a train. So did not go for that. There was also another item in that section I'll get back to, but let's keep going. We're almost done. We've got the whole catalog now to ourselves to pick two random items. So what was your first you're going to go for?
I got to do some page jumping again.
I've stayed in the toy section primarily with my stuff.
Yeah, well, this one got my eye. Where's screen share again? The freaking robots, dude. Come on. This is awesome.
That's one of mine. That is one of mine. The Max Steel. Now, on the previous page, go over to the previous page real quick. To the RoboForce set.
Oh, yeah.
Now, see, if you remember, no, actually, I don't think you were there. It was the last time I was in Nashville at our Great Escape thrift store. I found 4 of those RoboForce robots, and I did not realize they had a play set right there. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get that. And then I flip over to the next page, and they've got one of the RoboForce robots that's actually like a huge freaking robot that you can program. And they did have the Omnibot in there too, which I am a huge fan of. That never had. Right there. There's the Omnibot and his 2 little cousins there. Can't remember what the other ones were called. Omni something. Anyway.
Dingbot right here. Dingbot always seems a bit confused.
Yeah. But the one on the previous page, the huge one, that's the Max Steel robot for $350.
Yeah.
Look at that thing, man. That thing is glorious.
Yes.
And, you can program it. Did it have like a cassette player or something? I don't know, but the thing looks just freaking massive.
Let's see.
Almost as tall as the kid there.
Item L, more than a toy. He's a programmable robot that can walk, talk, play games, and much more. He's almost human. Unsnap the handheld master controller from the top of his head, and you control him. Max has a fully articulated, motorized, grasping, twisting claw, strong moving lift arms, plus an electronic computer brain and storage compartments. His wireless remote control, programmable memory, and unique teaching mode enable you to program a sequence of actions which Max will perform again and again from memory. He speaks 140 words, plays music, and tells the time. Electronic alarm feature allows Max to activate at a predetermined time. He can play 2 games, Moonball and Force Field. Max comes with an easy-to-follow instruction manual and a built-in rechargeable battery pack. All for the low introductory price of $349.99.
Glorious, man.
Yeah.
I would own that in a heartbeat. It's great.
What about yours?
Okay, so the other one that I have left now, that was going to be what I was going to end the show on, but you stole my thunder there. My other choice is going to be my gateway drug into the Superpowers collection. I'm going for the Batmobile. Doesn't come with any figures, so that's why this is going to be the gateway into this collection. Because I'm going to have to get the figures, Batman and Robin, and they've got a few of them here, and the Hall of Justice.
Nice.
Which I'm very envious. Chad has that. I don't think he has the Batmobile. I know he has the Hall of Justice and found it for like $2 at a thrift store or something. But oh man, this is a collection I never got into as a kid. I wish I did. I'm not surprised that I didn't. But yeah, that Batmobile, I love that. It's throwback. It's even more throwback than the 66 Batmobile, in my opinion, to like the original comics and just the style of it. But man, I'm going to get me some superpowers.
Nice.
And, out of all the things in here, they had Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain. What were some of the other sets that they had in here? I was like, what do I choose from? Well, let me just get something that I never had. So that's how I kind of ended on that Batmobile and getting into the superpowers. Our buddy Bill Ferris over at MattTracker.com
Oh yeah.
He's got pretty much everything in the Superpowers collection, except for the Riddler, I think he said. So yeah, that's what I'm getting into. What is your last random item?
Oops, it didn't work. There. Last item is basically I was into electronics, so I would like to get this electronics kit to play around with. I thought that was actually kind of
is that like the circuit board and everything?
yeah, a little couple circuits, probably just nothing more than lights and buzzers and stuff like that. But that's what you got into early on. You kind of got to see how the electronics worked.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, right above it is the chemistry set, so you can try to blow up the house.
Yeah, I did see those. I saw there was like a rock tumbler and some other stuff there too. Yeah, I just kind of usually glanced over the educational toys.
Well, it was not so much the educational. I liked electronics. I went to school for it, so that just seemed like it'd be something fun. If I had known that it existed, I would have gotten one.
All right. Well, let's get on to. Well, that was it for me.
Okay.
I was going to get on to a couple maybe wow moments that we got through here. A lot of them had to deal with Nightrider. I wrote down the backpack. Did you see the backpack for Nightrider?
Yes. There was so much stuff there.
That was pretty cool, and I did write down the watch. Something funny that I remember my dad having back in these, I don't know, early 80s, and I don't know if it was just like Montgomery Ward or if it was some other stores or two. They seemed to have a lot of stuff that revolved around ducks. Okay. Yes. Like the mallard ducks and I don't know. It was like a theme almost, or a franchise, like before Duck Dynasty ever was even thought about.
Right.
There was just these crazy items that had ducks on them. And the ones that caught my eye in this book, and I'll bring it up here. There were these lint brushes that were ducks that I remember my dad having. And right below it, here's the and you got like a random one, so you couldn't like pick which one you got. He had one of those. It was like a lint brush on the bottom of the duck to take the lint off your shirt, your velvet shirt. And then we had this right down below it here. This was a little case, and inside there was 2 decks of playing cards that had ducks on them. And it was a nice wooden case with the duck on top, and you pulled up on the duck to open up the case. I don't know. That just hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, he might still have that duck lint brush somewhere in his house. But those just struck a chord with me. I'm like, oh my gosh, that takes me right back to our first house. So what else did you see in the book that was kind of like wow moments?
The amount of rifles and pistols that were on like 5-10 pages. I mean, I was flipping through it pretty quick, but I'm like, okay, I love my Nightrider, and and that's what, again, that was a wow moment for me, seeing all the Nightrider that was actually in there. But then I'd see like I said, about 5 or 10 pages of rifles and pistols, and I guess you could, back in the day when you didn't have to worry about gun control, at least that you could see, holy cow, I could buy, I think, 50 different guns in one load if I wanted to.
Right. It was pretty insane. Like there were some in the Sears catalog too.
Yeah,
that we reviewed, and I mean, there was like everywhere. Several pages, like you said, and even the amount of like toy guns and cap guns and everything else in the book. There was a lot of those as well. What cracked me up over in the small Christmas section that they had a little shot of their artificial Christmas trees, right?
Yeah.
And then they have all these woodland creatures living in them down below. There's like a squirrel, and there's like a groundhog hopping out, and there's a raccoon. I'm like, okay, what are they trying to convey here? And putting like these animals in their Christmas trees. You know, it was like a precursor to Christmas Vacation with the squirrel popping out of the tree. You know, I don't know. It just cracked me up that they would situate their trees like that. But anyway, what else did you find in there?
Oh, really? I mean, looking back at the nostalgia, right? All the, the TV and the TV consoles, when the TV was the actual piece of furniture.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Then the other boom box that I saw was the one with the record player inside it. Did you see that?
Yeah, the one with the drawer.
Yeah.
That was like, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going to pick that until I saw the one with the TV inside. And I was like, oh, I'm going for that one.
Look, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I looked through all the TVs on that when we were, contemplating the electronics item. And I was like, oh, my gosh, these things are glorious. You need, they should come with like a bottle of Pledge because it's just, like pure wood.
That's it.
Except for the screen. It's great. All right, here's another thing that caught my eye. I'm huge into Hot Wheels and Matchbox.
Yep.
Had never seen this before. Okay, item K right here. It is like a Matchbox shooting revolver. Okay, so you can you load like 12 cars in here. What do they call this thing? I think it's on the previous page. K. $16. The Speed Shooter launches 1 or 2 cars at a time. Load the magazine with up to 12 Matchbox cars and pull back the stick to launch. So you could essentially load in 12 cars. They had like 6 chambers. You think about like a revolver right now. You put in the cars and you pull the thing back. It shoots out the cars.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go and the chamber reloads, and you got 2 more cars ready to shoot out. I thought that was the coolest thing, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'd never seen that before. Look at it, man.
That's so awesome.
It's cool. Okay, for somebody that loved Hot Wheels and had a ton of them, you could just like load that thing up and start shooting cars across the kitchen, Oh my gosh, that'd be so much fun. Look at all the stuff that they had in here. They had the garage there. There's the crisscross crash, I think is what you called it.
I liked that guy.
The snake one with the tongue where your car came out across the tongue. I don't know what those were. It looks like there's something like charging the cars there. Power or something. Anyway. All right. Well, that caught my eye. You got anything else? I've got 2 more things.
No, I kind of run out of. I mean, there's a lot of impressive stuff. I saw a lot of things that I had, like constructs. I had them. I had the Domino Alley.
Yes, I saw that as well. I'd always wanted that. I never had that either. It was like, man, that's ingenious to set up dominoes. You spend most of your time setting them up, and to have that, like preloaded.
Oh yeah.
Little area to set up your dominoes.
And then I saw, like, there's a Pepsi bottle radio in there, and it reminded me I had a Coke bottle AM radio back in the day.
You did? Okay.
I did. There was a telescope. I don't know when I got that. It was a red telescope, and I caught one of them. There was a batch of them towards the end of the catalog that there was a red one. So I imagine that's where I got it from, was there. Just a lot of stuff I saw that was in there that I had, like the yellow See and Say that Target brought back for a little bit. Just all types of stuff. The Snoopy snow cone maker. I had that in the god awful red flavor, whatever that was. I don't know what that was, but it
was like cough medicine.
No, it tasted like vomit. But anyhow, Target brought that back too. I mean, that's the one thing I'll give Target about. They want to entertain us. They got us. I mean, geez, they bring everything back for us.
They did. They brought back those retro Hot Wheels, and I had to buy that Stow and Go that one that they just released a couple
Yeah.
of years ago. Yeah. Well, here's a couple other weird items that I found in there before we get out of here. And you weren't much of the sports person, but
No.
I love golf and I love playing baseball too. And back in the day, they used to make these bats. They still do, that are heavier than like a regular bat, and would teach you to swing faster. You're swinging. It's like swinging 2 or 3 baseball bats at one time. I used to do that as well when I was playing, and it kind of warms you up. It helps you, if a kid throws really fast to improve your bat speed. And this catalog, they have something called the Wildwood, which is this golf club that it's not meant to hit a ball. It's just for practice, and it's weighted. And it looks like it's got a face on it. It's got like 2 teeth left. It's got a little bandage up here and like a little, like he's got a knot on his head from being bonked. Looks like he was in like a prize fight with Mike Tyson. And you swing. This is just the oddest thing. You would think it would just be like a stick or, just the part of the club weighted. But they threw this like crazy little character on the end of the golf club for you to just swing around. Hey, I got my Wildwood. I'm just going to practice. I don't know. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And then a few pages beyond this, I just posted this on Instagram a little while ago. If you would have rode this as a kid, I think you would have gotten your butt kicked by the nearest bully. It's called the Longrider, and it's like a skateboard that has this like long neck. Okay? I had never seen this thing before. Let me get the screen up here. Had you ever seen something like that?
No, I saw that too, and I'm like, I don't.
What is the Longrider
at all?
It's got this kid on there, and he's got 1 foot on the thing and 1 hand on the long neck of this skateboard, and he's just kind of cruising down the highway. Here's what they wrote in the description. The new exciting Longrider skateboard has a security grip handle for easy steering and riding. Perform stunts, spins, and jumps. Ride with confidence. Self-adjusts to the size of the rider. It's almost like a training skateboard, is what I look at it. You're not prepared to just go all out on your skateboard, and you need a little safety handle there. But I just can't picture a kid, rolling down the street in one of these and looking cool, I don't know. It just seemed like the most ridiculous thing to me.
How do you even run that?
Right? I don't know. It says it's like self-adjusting, but look, the size of his foot right there is as long as the 2 wheels are. So where are you going to put another foot?
That's it.
You can't ride it like a normal skateboard. I don't know. It'll have to remain a mystery. What do they want for this thing?
When they made that
$22. $22. I would rather have that unicycle right next to it. At least that thing, I exactly know what to do with it. You got to balance and ride it like a bike. This thing, I don't know. I don't know.
No idea.
Anyway, well, dude, I think we've come to the end. This was a lot of fun going through this catalog.
Yeah. So many memories, especially when I'm looking actually at it at the first, going, I think I had this. Geez, I had a lot of stuff in here. And then like the unknown, how many Nightrider stuff did they actually have?
Yeah,
it's still pretty cool though. Love it.
Like the Duke's Museum, they could definitely put a whole museum of Nightrider stuff. It seems like if
that's it, you could have.
There was actually all this stuff in here, but yeah, man, this was great. Had a great time, and let's just invite everybody to go over there on YouTube if you haven't. If you don't usually listen to us or watch us over there, check that out with all the screen shares that we've been doing. You can see these crazy items and all those toys and everything that we showed. There was a glorious picture. I should have put that up on screen share. At the very beginning of the book, there was like this spread of just random. It was like random toys throughout the catalog that they laid out in this like snowy setting. I posted that on Instagram a little while ago, but this was a great book to go through, and one that I just kind of blew my mind compared to even the Sears one that we just went through. So thanks for taking the time, man. And
anytime.
Merry Christmas to you. Hope you have a great holiday.
Same to you. Merry Christmas, and Merry Christmas to all our listeners and watchers out there. We look forward to anything, all your comments. I'm sure a lot of this has triggered some memories. So please comment at the Rediscover the 80s page or on our Twitter feeds and everything else. But yeah, this has been a blast. We seriously got to do a schedule that we keep preaching to ourselves about so that we can actually get into this and keep up.
Right. So, yeah, we're going to hopefully do that in the new year, keep a regular schedule going with Memory Jogger and with the Rankum shows and whatever else we want to throw in the feed just to keep y'all entertained and have a little fun along the way. But thanks so much for subscribing and listening. I've got some feedback that I saw on Twitter of people listening, so glad you like these episodes, and hopefully we'll make this an annual tradition for Christmas. Going through these catalogs as a lot of people do. So thanks everybody for subscribing and listening, and have a Merry Christmas. And I'm going to stop recording eventually. How do I get you big again?
I had to click on the second button. So yeah, that radio station, I was trying to figure out where that's at. I think that's Belfont.
Oh, really?